We are at Pro Game Athletics. We are filming another live stream podcast tonight. Shout out to Pro Game Athletics and Ken Courtright State Farm for sponsoring this series of Axcess Baseball podcasts. Tonight we're joined by another special guest, Dylan Banner. Dylan is a junior at Plainview JFK, coming off an outstanding 2020 season, obviously a short season, but an effective one at that. Lost the championship game of the Northeast Elite League to a very good MVP Beast team, but Dylan had an unbelievable outing on Saturday against LIB. So we're going to start there, Dylan. 6 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. I mean, how do you feel like you would evaluate your performance?
I definitely did well. There was a lot of energy going into that game. It was very loud, and I feel like we're the team to beat in the Northeast. We're the Titans, and I just tried to throw strikes. I was locked in and just trust my creators behind me.
Mm-hmm. Now, for most of the season, it hasn't been too much like high-intensity games, it feels like. So was it a nice kind of like system shock to get the adrenaline going, a night game, and the other teams into it as much as
it was definitely a good feeling to get to start in like a night game at baseball heaven against a pretty good team, a bunch of kids that I know because from Long Island, so it's pretty good competition, and it was just very intense and locked in at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Now, earlier in that day, Joe Ariola, one of your teammates, Chaminade pitcher, 2022 as well, 7 innings pitched, complete game, just utter domination, it seems like. Is that what you come to expect from your pitching staff in general?
Definitely. One of them. From all throughout the season, I don't think one of us has had like a really bad start this year. I think that no matter what, if our pitchers throw strikes, we'll be fine. Like, we have incredible defense behind us, and it's just amazing watching how some of our pitchers pitch. Either from on the bench at third, at first, it's just fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side, you guys did lose in the championship game, even though it was an outstanding game. MVP Beast defeated you. So looking back on it now, 2 days later, what was your biggest takeaway from that game, and what was that atmosphere like?
Well, MVP Beast, I think that they're technically our rivals because they're probably one of the better organizations in Long Island. And we played them earlier in the summer and we lost to them in a pretty tight game. I think it was 2-1 or 3-1 or something like that. So we definitely wanted our revenge. We had a number 1 going on the mound, and it was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Now their starting pitcher, Matthew Canizares, I'm not as familiar with him because he's from the city. But what did he come at you with?
I think he started me off with 2 curveballs. I think one was a strike and one was a ball, and then he threw me this 2-seam fastball that ran into my hands, and I think I got a base hit to the left center, but I kind of got jammed. It wasn't that hardly hit, but I was waiting to get on.
There was a lot of good individual performances in that game too. I mean, I had one of my reporters covering the game, Chris Leone with the throw hat at second base, Kyle Chase with the 89-mile-an-hour heat. Well, let's talk about Kyle. When he goes out to the mound, obviously you guys expect to win. What did he have that day? And when you're in the field behind him, what is it like watching him?
It's really fun. Sometimes when we all come back in the dugout to hit, kind of scared to talk to him a little bit.
He's that
so locked
yeah.
in, he doesn't want to talk to anyone, which is good and fun. And I sat that game because I pitched the day before, so my arm was kind of tired, but in the dugout, just watching him spot up every single pitch, it was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Now you had the game-tying sacrifice fly too. Was there? Did you have a game plan going into that, or were you just looking to
it was
get
1 out, second and third, and I had a 2-0 count on me, and I was looking for. I knew a fastball was coming, and I wasn't thinking home run, but I was thinking in the back of my head. But fastball, I got a fastball middle in. My bat dragged a little bit, and I hit it to right field. I feel like if I got my foot down a little earlier, I could have done some damage, but it did the job, did what we needed to do in that inning. So.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a wild ending. I mean, now it's going around social media. They score a run on an error, or I don't even know what it would go down in the book of fielder's choice. So, can you tell our audience about that last play of the game?
Yeah, well, I was in the dugout. I was jumping out of my shoes on that play. We got it was a ground ball to Kyle, and we threw it to home, and we got the out. And then the runner who hit the ball was rounding first to go to second, and there was still a runner on third. And I think Kyle ran at the guy, I don't know if he knew there was a guy on third until we started screaming it, but before he knew, it was too late to throw home. Do it off his back foot, didn't get there in time.
Yeah, one of the more strange finishes to a ball game that you'll see. But in any event, it was an enjoyable baseball game. And taking it back 2 weeks, you won the MVP of the younger age group of that tournament. And you faced Next Level, 74 pitch complete game, 3 hit shutout. So you're going to be getting the Player of the Month, little sneak preview there. But can you talk about that performance and looking back on it now, what you remember?
Well, yeah, we were watching the game before because they were playing the other Titans team, and it was a wild game. They went to the California Rule, and I've never seen such an amped up game from the stands like in my life. And the Next Level ended up winning, and I think that they saw us coming in on the field to warm up, and they kind of just like shut down. Like we scored, I think, a run in the first, and then I let up a hit, and then I struck like 3 kids out, and I think they quieted them down. But definitely my stuff was working that day.
Yeah, and one thing I'm interested in following storyline for this offseason is how different players, how they handle the offseason, whether or not you're going to continue to throw because it started so late, or if you're going to shut down. So where's your mind at with that? Are you planning on taking some time off?
Well, usually after my last fall, I usually play fall ball, and after my last fall ball tournament, I usually go straight into school basketball. But without basketball, it might not happen this year until January. I'm probably going to play a few more tournaments, and I try not to throw from like the end of October to like the beginning of February, just to give my arm that rest. And I usually go to the gym as much as possible with a few of my friends. It's fun to go to the gym with your friends. And Tyler Deletti, when he comes home, we usually work out together and just get our reps in the cage.
Mm-hmm. And what do you plan on focusing on this offseason? What do you feel like you need to improve on as a player?
I definitely like my quickness at third, like just to get to the balls that I need to get to, that I couldn't have got to like this year, the past year. Like strength and conditioning, obviously, throw harder, hit farther, and just all around just being a better athlete.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that gets lost on players, especially pitchers. They're just worried about throwing hard, improving the velo, and then you forget there's other aspects that go into being an athlete. And also a lot of pitchers are pitchers only. So when did you decide that you wanted to continue pursuing being a position player? Is it just something that your coaches kind of laid the groundwork for that?
Well, I've been I think I'm going to play shortstop in school ball this year. So I've always had that like footwork in the infield. I've always had a pretty good glove, but I think what stands out most is my bat. Like I don't think there was a tournament this year where I didn't get like 3 or 4 hits. So I think that's what stood out.
So kind of made up,
in the box.
It kind of made up your mind then. Yeah. And then as far as the college recruiting process, I know it's been frustrating for everybody, but do you feel like you're far along and you're close to making a decision?
Yeah, definitely. My coach, Tom Downey, he's been sending video to literally every single school, and I've had a few phone calls with some big schools, and it's only a matter of time until I find the right fit for me and my family.
And you mentioned the school year playing shortstop. I just wanted to touch on that quick, playing for Coach John Giverkidze at Plainview JFK. So can you give our audience a little quick synopsis of your guys' roster? Who's some of the core players for this year?
Yeah, Josh Indek, he's going to be probably our starting second baseman. He's my age, he's one of my best friends. Charlie Noel is going to be a starting pitcher. I'm going to be a pitcher like probably the third game, so I probably have to play the field the first 2. Sam Saltzman, who's on Next Level, is a stud, one of my best friends.
He's the younger brother of Julian?
Ryan.
Ryan, sorry.
Yeah, Ryan. And Andrew Lenski, I think. He was supposed to play varsity as a freshman, and it all got canceled. But I think he'll be like our starting third baseman or catch when he needs to.
Mm-hmm. Now, Coach Giverkidze's had a lot of success there. One of the nicest guys.
Yeah.
Is he the same guy behind closed doors to the team and at practice?
Yeah, he's probably like one of the coaches that just hates to lose. Like all coaches hate to lose, but he's definitely up there. Like, he gets so into it, and like that's what we like. And during the winter, like he has us there. Like we have like Monday, Wednesday, like pitchers and position player, like strength and conditioning programs, and then Tuesday, Thursday, pitchers and catchers go, and then fielders, and we set up the cage and just hit. And it's just a good atmosphere around it.
Yeah, I think he's one of the top coaches around, and he sets the atmosphere. This sets a tone with the atmosphere for his practices, from what I've heard. So talking about the off-season along those lines, you go to pitching lessons with Bobby DeMichael and Anthony Papa at Prospect Sports. Prospect, definitely one of the premier facilities on Long Island. And before we started recording, you mentioned how you like to just hang out there, even when you're not working out. So what is it about the atmosphere with your teammates that you like about
Well,
home?
just being around baseball, I love it. And Papa and Bobby are like probably not even like the best coaches, but they're just the best people to be around. They know what they're talking about. They're funny. Like it's just fun to talk about their past experiences as players and coaches. And they run a great place. I usually go there to like hit for like a half hour, then work on recovery on my arm, like stretching and stuff. And they know everything that they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's a very difficult thing to trust somebody with your arm and your body like that. So is that something that is just built up over time, your trust with them, or is it something you just dive right in?
Yeah, well, going there over and over, like watching him like teach kids how to pitch, like throwing lessons, like some lessons that he does. Like I watch and like examine like what he does and like how he does it, and it's cool, and I trust him like completely because he used to be like a top tier player in his prime, and it's just I trust him a lot. We're gonna project.
Yeah, very well said. So just gonna go lightning round here before we let you go. So David Wright, favorite player?
Yeah.
Is that still accurate?
Yeah.
And why do you like David Wright?
Because we both play third base, and I think I went to his last game, and just the way he plays, how he plays with like such passion and joy, and no matter how bad he does in a game, he's always like smiling no matter what. It's just
he always has a positive disposition, and we could say that in past tense because he is done playing, but one of the role models and one of the best players in New York Mets history. How about pregame music? Do you have any go-to?
Luke Combs, Country, definitely.
Awesome. How about meal?
Probably pizza.
Okay. How about if it's not a pregame? Like, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Probably wings, chicken wings.
Okay. Favorite app on your phone?
TikTok. Probably get a lot of hate.
Yeah, no. You and a lot of other people right now. What was your best experience on the baseball field?
Last year, we went to Myrtle Beach with the 15U body armor team with Casey McKay's team, and we had to win like 6 games in like 30 hours because we were in like the losers bracket, and we like locked in and we won every single game. Like I hit a home run, and we had to beat the same team twice in a championship game, and like we were down like 1-0 like the 5th inning, and I got up and I hit a 2-run homer, and it was just electric. It was sick.
That's nuts. And wait, actually, just coming back to me, you were on the Cooperstown winning team, right?
Yeah.
So we got to talk about that actually quick. So very few teams from New York ever compete for a championship there, let alone win. And you guys went all the way. How many teams were in that tournament?
104. Yeah, we finished first in our pool in the whole thing too, so we went all the way.
That's nuts. Who were some of the top performers on that trip? Kyle Chase was one of them, right?
No, Kyle.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the sickest hitting performance I've ever seen. Brady Clark had some clutch home runs. Derek Torres throughout the tournament, I think he got out like 6 out of 7 times.
In a week.
I think I hit like 10 home runs with like 30 RBIs or something. Like everything I hit was just like somehow go over the fence.
And you got the win in the last game, right?
Yeah, I pitched like from like the 2nd inning to like the 2 outs in the 6th because I let up a home run. It was lefty, so we put John Downey in.
Oh, and he got the last out, right? Yeah, I remember seeing that video. And I mean, that's like they should do a 30 for 30 on that, honestly. And how many people were in the stands for the championship? It was like packed, right?
There was people all like, the whole stands was filled, and there was like, I feel probably like 1,000 people just sitting on the hill just watching the game. That was sick.
And that was what, 3 years ago now?
Yeah, we were 12.
Yeah, that's something that you'll remember forever.
And Brian Anderson had us, Coach VA had us locked in the whole tournament. Like we'd go hit like twice a day if we didn't have a game or something. It was the best week of my life.
So you went undefeated then, right?
Yeah.
That's sick. So yeah, I had to talk about that before I let you go. And last question, Rays or the Dodgers?
Dodgers.
All right. Even though you're a Mets fan?
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers, watching that game the other day, Cody Bellinger's home run was electric, and I was watching fans in the stands go crazy. It was just a good feeling to watch.
We'll see tonight, playoff Kershaw going against Glass now. So that's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you Pro Game for hosting us, and Ken Courtright for sponsoring the podcast.
Thank you.